My name's Sean Barger. I'm the CEO of Equilibrium, and I'm here to talk about MediaRich.io, which is a new blockchain-enabled play that is all about solving this problem. The problem of decentralization related to server applications. You're seeing right here what everyone deals with whenever you have something that's successful and you need to scale it. Well, it's very hard and expensive to not have to go through that one lane. That one lane is one app, one location, one server location, and not being able to scale that effectively as a hosted service. I'm the CEO of MediaRich.io, and we're going to talk a little bit first about the current ICO realities of past. Present company accepted, there's a lot of great ICOs here, but I think it's important to understand what we're trying to avoid here. Effectively, as you probably are well aware, 1 in 10 digital tokens issued in an ICO following their sales is used. It's actually utilized in some way. There are a lot of different issues around R&D. There's no real upfront R&D in a lot of ICOs. They're lacking prototype, and they're all based on what-ifs and theories about the usability in the blockchain and scalability, etc. We are trying to avoid the great promise that ends up being a possible failure down the road. I started this initiative when at Equilibrium we had this content compliance cloud that we were launching. We currently power some of the largest B2B portals and websites in the world. We've generated over 9 billion assets for Disney Co. We have an installation at Warner Brothers with 11 B2B portals with our MediaRich server. And we have a connector into SharePoint Online. And one of the biggest issues was scalability. How do you take that, that capability and put it in a hosted cloud service and make it so that it can be realized without having all the upfront costs? For everybody who's ever done any kind of hosted service, you know that there's a lot of expense and time and money in setting up and dealing with server-side connectivity and all the upfront issues around dealing with these problems. We are going to be launching our system with 300 person years of development, $100 million invested in the core D service, and a battle-tested generator. The problem state effectively is that everything that is scaling right now with D apps and server applications and everything you've seen at this conference, to scale those applications, there's a lot of time and money on the back end to do it. And so there's an incredible opportunity, a massive opportunity actually, to deal with all of the issues around the creation of a client-server interface and a scalable back-end play. Effectively, how we're going to solve that problem is launch MediaRich.io, a decentralized content generation network, and it's going to be powered by Dynecoin. So the first thing, we're going to talk about the team in a minute, but the first thing I did was I hired the person that has delivered time and time again very scalable services such as this. And his name is David Jennings. And David Jennings is our CTO. His last effort was, he was number 45 at NetSuite and helped grow that company from 45 to a $9 billion acquisition by Oracle, in charge of the core engineering for the e-commerce service. Effectively, the ability to scale is one of the biggest problems, and having somebody who can deliver on the ability to scale an infrastructure as a service is critical. That's what we're doing. We're effectively making it so that the first service, which is a Media Gen D service, can be deployed and scaled automatically in a content generation network. And so, that actually, so we understand what that means. If you need to process content, video, images, if you need to connect it to other cloud services or decentralized apps, today you've got to create this whole back end to do this. We're making it so it's just a URL request and pass me some Dimecoin. We're boiling it down, and we're going to have something called the MediaRich.io MediaRich requester. So instead of processing content and setting it up as a hosted service, with our system, you just make the request to the generator, and it automatically distributes that to all the nodes and brings it to the closest node to the system. So the most important thing about this is we are going to do this without infrastructure of our own. We're going to do this with third-party infrastructure. Today, there's approximately 2 billion PCs, of which 30% of those are idle at any given point, and 100 million servers. They are not in use, and they are available for creating a pay-for-use solution. We are going to launch a system that effectively solves all the problems around instant usability of a D service, which is decentralized server application. You pay for what you use. It's powering a sharing economy. It's fast. There's zero fixed recurring costs, and it's a vast pool of machines that are available at any time. We're going to have multiple levels, enterprise grade, and the second tier, which is for, I don't want to pay as much, I don't need it as fast as possible. Just make those requests and get them to me, or those 100,000 requests, and get them to me as soon as possible through the lowest costs available. Okay, so how does that work? Effectively, we have created a CGN architecture, and you can see this on MediaRich.io. The white paper is available for download. Effectively, we're going to have a CGN broker that distributes requests automatically on the edge to a content generation network. And the first D service is here. That's the Media Gen D service that can process just about any type of content delivered anywhere. And it's all stateless and will work on any machine. So you just you just install our D service and you're off to the races, and then you become part of the global content generation network. Effectively, this is a little close-up view. The key thing here is this is something that is mostly developed based on the MediaRich server that exists today that powers Warner Brothers and other services. Effectively, all the work is done for a media generator D service, and we're going to deploy that on this new content generation network. Now, today, I actually heard, I think it was Valak, a great company. I liked their presentation. We actually are solving a problem of security at Equilibrium as the first D app, decentralized app. I want to show you this problem. This problem is the security, the workflow, the viewing, and the content access issue that exists every time you go to any service and you want to collaborate on it, share it, view it. You have to always download it for the most part. Almost all of these systems now, you're downloading to give feedback, you're downloading to do collaboration, and then you're doing your annotations and you're sending them back. What our system does, the Content Compliance Cloud at Equilibrium, is it effectively automatically normalizes the content on the back end, secures it, and allows you to view over 400 file types anywhere. And that way you're not constantly having to go through an unsecure workflow or deliver content all over the planet. And that service is the service that we needed to scale. And that's why we created MediaRich.io. any content anywhere securely, any device anywhere securely. This is the first decentralized app. It's a massive opportunity for connecting, normalizing, encrypting, and visualizing content. And the projections, which is rare to show projections of sales, this is actually a projection for the first D app connected to SharePoint Online. So we're going to connect it to a lot of different services, but just 1% penetration to 7% of 200 million existing users of SharePoint Online puts us at a $700 million business by 2021. This product just shipped. However, we need to scale it. So here's the thing. We were about to say, okay, let's scale it out on AWS and Azure. No. 20% of this revenue is going to go into Dynecoin, which is the new D-Service currency. So instead of us taking the money and building out a whole AWS and Azure and raising all that money to do that, we just pay in Dynecoin from an existing business. So we have a real business with a real play, with a D app that is going to be powered by the new D-Services platform. And we have a lot of existing high-profile customers that are using our software today. So let's talk a little bit about the ICO. It is banned in the US and China. We are currently, this is actually the announcement of the private sale. And we will be doing the private sale effective immediately, going through end of September. And then we are going to take a break and not go immediately into the pre-sale. We're going to wait. We're going to launch the POC at Davos and launch the private sale and then the main event in February. That's the schedule. I think fundamentally one of the key things we wanted to do was to make sure that we had a POC that was launchable with the content generation network as part of that. So Dynecoin will be the currency, and we're going to be issuing 5 billion tokens, and we're going to be doing it by doing a market-driven ICO pricing. So every 29 days, we'll get into the schedule in a minute. Every 29 days, 29 hours, we will issue more tokens and sell it at the average price. So right now we have for sale on the ICO is for the most part the largest percentage. There's a team reserve and early investors. The main thing here is I've allocated token swap allocations for partnerships. I actually believe that a big part of a major ICO that's going to be building effectively a fund as part of what we're doing is to actually allocate token swap allocation for partnerships, so that partners in the D-Service, people who want to launch in the D-Service, I've probably had in the presentations, the limited presentations I've done already, I've probably had 10 people say, oh man, this is perfect for launching our system rather than building it out on AWS. Well, exactly. This is a huge opportunity that is totally missed. And so we are there and we are building it. This is just an overview. Most of the, a very large portion is going to engineering and development, licensing, and you can see the basic overview and a small contingency. But here's where we're going to do the tokens. 20 million fixed cap. We're doing a private sale right now. And we're going to launch the pre-sale in January with 500 million Dynecoin sold over a 2-week period. And then we're going to do the remaining, we'll convert from proxy tokens into a Dynecoin tokens all at the same time, but get priced and delivered at the beginning of January. Now at the main sale, February, the main sale. And then every period is going to be, currently we're looking at every 29 hours, so that every 3 days it goes around the globe on the sale. It will be live market priced, and we expect to have a lot of Pan-Asia interest. We already do. So effectively, At this ICO, we have instant traction, working with the real business. We have no demand for the service and an existing marketplace and a user base. It's scoped. It's not what are we going to do with something down the road with CPU resources. It's going to be these services, and you can make your own D services, and it'll automatically scale in the network. And really, it's really a solution utilizing a proven track record and product line. So this is the schedule. I think there's one error here, but basically that ends up, the end of the pre-sale is end of January, and then we'll do February 2019. Here's one of the big things about that. Let me just go back. We're going to accept almost all altcoins as part of this ICO, and as far as the Dynecoin model as well, which I'm a big believer in. Structure is one of the most important things, and that is that people need a place for altcoins to go. This gives them that place. And we're going to do that with a partner that is going to handle all of that for us, and we're going to end up with ETH, or whatever the final currency we'd like. We have a great team. As I said, we got Dave Jennings. Matt Butler is VP of Engineering. He has scaled multiple products and businesses before. Been with the company now for 13 years. He's going to be a big part of the DApps. Oliver Jensen came from PwC. Brian Rice, very senior database engineer, has been dealing with things like Superfund with 40 million transaction a minute, these kinds of things. And Simon Choi, he did Trade.io. He's doing 20. He did about 10 ICOs last year. He's doing 20 ICOs this year. And that's basically everything. Questions?
What's the difference between a content generation network and like your traditional CDN?
Yeah, so we are CDN compatible. That's a good question. So we're not competing with CDNs. We are distributing the CPU, the server application, and making it so that you can scale it on the edge. And then you make your request to the server application, passes Dynecoin, we process, charge, that's it. So it's instant on, it's instant off.
So you guys make it so that my phone doesn't have to process the information. It processes it in the cloud?
Yeah, so we enable, like other cloud services, we enable that to occur, any client server application. The difference is that the back end for the server side is what we're making so it's instant access and instant usability. So you can just send an MRL request to MediaRich.io and it will process and deliver. And you send 1,000 or 1,000,000 requests, it'll process and deliver. It's stateless.
So let's say you have an existing ICO and there's a smart contract execution, you guys are going to be essentially processing those smart contracts?
No, we're specifically focused on GPU, CPU content and marshaling CPUs that are third parties so that they can become used by others in the content generation network. So you don't have all of the costs of setup of AWS and Azure. Right.
And so all the computers on the network, they get incentivized to...
Correct.
That's brilliant. Good idea.
Yep. And you pay in Dynecoin. So we give you Dynecoin, the coin and the blockchain enables this to occur, but we're making it in a very scoped way so that we can launch not some nebulous, it does everything platform. We're launching dynamic imaging and video on the fly. We're launching some other server application, or you can launch your own server application. Again, everyone I talk to is like, wow, we're about to spend all this money and time and build this stuff on AWS. Well, there's an opportunity to use a D service and deploy it here with APIs, and you get automatic scalability. Any more questions? 11 seconds. The white paper is quite technical and complete, and it's on MediaRich.io. Any more questions? All right. Thanks, guys.
Questions? We're done.
I'll take more questions.
More questions?
Oh, I will say one other thing is I didn't have a chance to add Michael, but Michael's on our advisory board now, so officially it's today.